When you power up your overflow filler, this will be the main screen that you see. Over to the left here are going to be all your main toggle buttons. So those will be your overrides. So if you're running a supply pump to feed your tank, this supply button on the bottom here will turn that mode off or on. Same thing with your conveyor. That'll turn your conveyor off or on. And that'll just be whether it's activating or not. The fill heads button is going to activate your fill pump on whether that's going to function or not for your actual pressure pump for the nozzles. And up here at the top left will be your fill cycle button. That will either start a cycle if you push it one time and continue running in an automatic mode, or if you push it twice, it will run just one cycle. Up at the top, you have your tab options for your setup screen, where you're going to be able to push this and you'll set up any of the options that you want to use during the cycle, or your manual tab here where you can hit that and you'll be able to manually operate all the functions and outputs of the PLC. Your timer screen here will take you to set all of the timers that are changeable for the setup. And your recipe tab will take you to be able to load any of the recipes or save any of your recipes. The in-feed container count here will populate as the machine's running and show the containers as they're being counted by the count sensor. Down at the bottom, you have any faults will show up here, and you can reset those right here. So if I toggle to the next screen, which would be your setup tab, you would see something like this. As you can see on this, it shows all these main toggles are lit up blue. That's what they're going to look like in their appended state. Over here, your indexing, you'll be able to select that to off if you want to run with no pins, or if you're running over a slide track or something like that. You turn your indexing off. If you're going to be running in an automatic mode with a conveyor and indexing pins, then you're going to turn that on. Fill hold. So this function would be used if you want to wait to start the actual cycle until your tank is filled. You could turn that on. The drip, that's going to be if you're going to be using a drip pan or not. On the next screen would be your ASU screen. You can see at the top. If you're going to toggle into that one, you could run from here to be able to set up your timing for your indexing pins. There's no ASU for the fill heads on an overflow filler, or else that would be seen here as well. This is just going to be for setting the timing for your pins. If we went back to that setup screen, you could also see there's another option up here for the inputs and outputs. If you were to click on that, you would see this here, which shows all of your inputs at the top and outputs at the bottom. And it'll just show whether those are off or on. You can match those against your schematic and it'll tell you which ones are which. If I go back to that setup screen, there's another login screen that isn't going to be used in any main use of this machine. That's just for initial setup. Next screen that we want to go to from my main screen here is going to be the manual tab. This is super handy when you're setting up the machine for the first time or during a changeover. If I click into that, I'll have my conveyor option here, so I can switch that from run, which would just run constantly and not shut off and on, or I can put it on auto. That's going to allow the machine to shut the conveyor off and on during the fill cycle. The entry gate here, exit gate, you can open those, close those. The fill pump, when you hit this, it's going to allow product to run through your pressure pump and up through your nozzles and overflow back into your tank. And this is going to be if you're running your drip tray, which is optional, you can operate your drip tray. If I go back to my main screen, I can see that I had my timer screen we talked about. So I could go to that, and my first page would be starting here. You're going to have your entry delay. So that's going to be after your exit pin opens to let your bottles leave. How long does it wait before it opens your entry pin to let the new bottles come in, creating your gap? Your in-feed count is going to be how many bottles you're going to be feeding in between your entry pin and exit pin. Your no bottle, no fill time. This is going to be how long the bottle is going to have to sit in front of your in-feed count sensor before it registers that it's there. Exit duration is going to be the amount of time that your exit gate has to stay open to allow all of the bottles to pass by. This number here is going to be automatically populated when you do your indexing ASU, but you can customize that here. You just click on this and you'll be able to type in any number you would like. Your fill pump start delay, after the containers run in, it indexes and your machine dives down. This would be how long after it dives down until the pump starts. The fill pump duration is going to be just how long after the pump starts, how long does that pressure pump run. Your delay head return after fill complete is going to be how long after it is done filling, and your start delay and duration is done. How long is the head's going to stay dive down before they come up. On that next screen, be the delay dive. That'd be after your containers are indexed in. How long does it wait before it dives down to the containers? Your exit retract delay and new cycle. That's going to be after the fill is complete and the heads are initiated to start coming back up. How long does it wait before it retracts that pin? So that allows for the nozzles to get completely out of the bottle if you have really tall bottles before the exit gate retracts, so it doesn't end up the bottles don't try and leave before the nozzles are completely out of the bottle. Your float delay is going to be how long the float has to hang in the down position before it turns on your product supply pump and opens the product supply valve. This will eliminate any sort of sloshing that you get from side to side in the tank from the product coming in too quickly or shutting off and on too quickly. Backup on would be how long the line backup sensor needs to see a bottle in front of it before it recognizes it. Cycle reset delay is going to be after one cycle is done, how long will it sit there and wait before it starts the next cycle, so you can use that if you are overrunning slower equipment on the line. So if I go back to my main menu, the next tab that you would see up here, and the final one would be the recipe tab. You click on that. You have up to 5 recipes that you can save. Come over here, you type in number 1 through 5, and you can load that to use now, or you can click save here to overwrite that and resave whichever you would like.